YouTube. Let's talk about it. Bye. Okay, my boobs all crazy, but wait a minute. Listen, looking out among the YouTube streets this week was crazy. And I noticed that in our community, we don't really express this a lot. Some of our men are struggling in this time. I can't put my finger on what it really is, but I came up with something. I was looking, and I think Stockholm Syndrome is kind of like giving me a great, okay definition to maybe work with. And if you have any more definitions or identifications or things you can kind of think that we are seeing. Okay, once again, I think sometimes men get looked over when it comes to abuse in our community. And we don't talk about it enough. We kind of more try to fix and accept or allow the women to be victims of abuse more than we would allow or accept men to have those issues. Okay. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but recently in our community, it's been an exploitation, explode of these kind of what is this? It's been a big explosive moment of the law enforcement's coming in each city or just anywhere and doing these kind of state buses, federal buses. I can't think right now. And I've noticed that a lot of men that I'm hearing that is commenting and relating and maybe even being a part of these stories when it comes to California, the big U's and the Texas, and just literally all over. I'm talking about men today. I'm coming in hot. I didn't even give my description or who I was, but I don't want to forget this because I've been thinking about this all night. And I had a couple of definitions about Stockholm syndromes that I felt like referred, maybe that I thought that was what I was seeing. I saw one of the things I said, Stockholm syndromes is an experience significant threat to their physical and psychological well-being. A lot of men that I'm hearing are very triggered by these people who are being have been held by, federal people, right? Listen to this. Another definition was a symptom of Stockholm syndrome. People held hostage have been the victim of abusive relationships. I think a lot of men don't even realize that that these relationships are abusive. When I hear the men that know these different men who's being in these federal indictments, they're tied with these people. They don't realize that they're a victim of abuse. I heard a guy, he was so in such a denial that, let's say the big U's and the people like this, that these are abusive relationships. Oh, I know that's hard. A lot of men don't know being in these gangs or being a part of these organizations. Let's say we can even go down here to Louisiana with the sororities, the fraternities. Those can be considered abusive relationships that men sometimes, that we as people accept it as being something that's okay. So when I'm listening to the different channels and the people who's describing the relationships with these people who now law enforcement have taken into custody, they are showing sure signs of Stockholm syndromes, not knowing that these are abusive relationships. And we have accepted that as love. We have accepted these relationships as being right. man, the community is messed up. And I was thinking about that. I was listening to some guy, and he was in such denial about how this guy was really such a great person to the community. I think sometimes it's like a woman. She can be in, and if you notice this, most women who are in abusive relationships, they are really still in love and care for their victims, right? I remember, and I hope Rihanna don't get me. Oh, hey, Lady Liv, thank you for coming in, because I want you to help me to put out what I'm thinking, and hoping that this is what I'm saying could be true. I was talking about Stockholm syndromes, and I was saying how looking at the internet and listening to people who is explaining their relationships to men or women who may be abusive, and they're not knowing that it's abuse. Sometimes when you in an abusive relationship, you don't understand it's abuse. So I was talking about the Big U situation over in California, Lady Liv. I was talking about men. I'm trying to go real fast. I was talking about how men do not identify sometimes that maybe they can be in an abusive relationship. Big U, I don't know if you know him, Lady Liv. He is this big time gang leader over in the city, in the state of California, right? And I was listening throughout all the YouTube channels, and a lot of the men who are tied to him, they really look to him as being a savior or a good person in their community. Now, when you look at his background, his history, and all his victims, he really his description does not play out on paper as a good guy. But I noticed some of our men in that community really are in this kind of Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing. They are not identifying him as an abusive person. They are trying to relate him as a great person of the community, not knowing that he's really an abuser. So my heart goes out to the men today, because sometimes we don't give men that moment. We only relate these kind of relationships to women. We kind of let them live there. So a lot of men, young men, I found out who was maybe under his tutelage, sometimes still relating him to be a good guy when actually he was an abuser. And I know that's going to be so hard for the men who was in that community. I cannot express or explain how they would feel, because I think growing up in that part of the world, being in a gang, as I was listening, sometimes I wouldn't say you was forced, but when you were, I think I was hearing some guy saying, if you lived in this neighborhood, that's what you were, even if you didn't really want to, you was that. So I don't know that feeling, because I'm in the South. But as I was hearing the conversations from the young men, I was saying, oh my God, these guys are in abusive relationships and they don't even know it. They don't even know their leader was an abusive. What was that movie last night, Lady Liv, that we was watching? The Tyler Perry situation. I can't think right now. Put it in the chat, Lady Liv. But in this movie, the Tyler Perry movie, the leader of this little community, this organization, it was a religious organization, he was really abusive, but the men thought that he loved them. They accepted it. They thought that the punishment he was doing to them sexually, the abuse he was doing to the women, the structures, how he was having them to live under, they related that to love, because I think naturally some men who grew up without a father don't really have that, don't understand that that's abuse. It's not love. Ruthless. Yes, thank you, Lady Liv. The sitcom is called Ruthless. So I can't stay on this long because I only got a couple of minutes. So as I look out on the YouTube streets and I'm watching the accused, the big U's out here in California, and I'm seeing the young man who may be under his tutelages in these organizations, they are so heartbroken that he is now incarcerated. He they are so upset because to them that abuse was love to them. It was protection, but actually it was abuse, and I related it to a Stockholm Syndrome. I gave a couple of definitions, Lady Leah, before you came in, that a lot of people don't know it. The triggers. They're held hostage to the victim abuse. They think it's love because of not experiencing men a real kind of love relationship. It's crazy. And when you look at a lot of those guys that's out there in that area, a lot of those guys do not have fathers, or their mothers are not, let's say, mothers who was there in the homes, or, single mothers who sometimes kind of lose their son. And it's so sad. So I hope today that people who listen to my podcast don't get offended. It's just an observation that I kind of paid attention to a lot of channels who are crying out for this leader, not realizing it's really an abusive relationship. He was not good for the community. So, and it's sad that we go through that. Men go through that. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. I feel my face. But I wanted to talk about that. My heart is broken. Men do not sometimes get to live there. Oh, what do you say, Lady Liv? What do you think about that? Syndromes are often triggered by survival mechanism in high stress situations, with factors like prolonged isolations and cognitive dissonance increasing. I think I said the last word wrong, but y'all get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people live in these high volumes of threatening positions, and they kind of relate that to love. It's abuse. It's abuse, guys. And this is to the men. I'm talking to the men. Those relationships over there under the big U's, that's abuse. That's not love. That's not family. That's not a community. When you are threatened to live in a place because you want to be a part of an association that's a criminal organization, that's abuse. That's abuse when you cannot come into a city without checking in. That's abuse. You should be able to go anywhere in this world and not feel threatened that if people see you, that they will take advantage of you. And if you are a part of something like that and think that that's okay, you ought to check in. Why? And I'm supposed to look like you. And I look like you. What do you mean? Or what do you know? Well, you ought to check in because I know the people who, bro. And to the people who think that that's okay, it's an abusive relationship, and you don't realize that that's bad. So I do believe that maybe he needed to be taken off maybe the streets because of what he was spilling out in the community. Hey, I'm Calendar Plug. How you doing this morning? Just having a little conversation, just a thought-provoking conversation about things that's going on in the news. Some of my topics today, I want to do them real quick because I don't have time. I was going to talk about the big youth situation with the young men over there in California. I talked about that. The Sexy Red, the church was in the news. Jasmine Crockett, Claudia Jordan, Kyrie Irving, Timberland, the music producer, and I may do Mark Cuban. I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to do all of them, but let's get straight into it. The music this week. Y'all know I'm a music lover. I talk about on this channel how my passion for music, growing up in a house with my father was a DJ and my mom was these people was great people. They allowed us to listen to music and to find our personality and character just through the music and the sounds. I had great parents. But this week, two of my, we don't have much to pick from when it comes to music these days. But two of my favorite songs this week was the JT Ran Out. I I saw myself all week saying, when it ran out. That's all I know. When it ran out. So for some reason, that song kind of was on me this week. That was my favorite song. Lady Lil said they look for love in games, don't realize they're getting in cults. Yes. I'm sorry. Let's go back over here. Lady Liv said the young men looking for love and the gangs bringing whatever that they think is love, but it's really not. Lady Liv said it's cults. It's mischievous. It's just not a great organization for those young men to have to grow up in. That atmosphere is crazy out there. If they felt like living that way is good, that's not great, you guys. And I know we have all of this stuff all throughout our communities throughout the world. So I'm not just trying to say California, because we have started these gangs and cults and organizations all over. I even went to the colleges. That organization is not good when you have to haze people to their deaths. And I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. That's not a great organization. And whoever started that and allowed that to be considered right was wrong. So I don't think we have these conversations. And I think people are scared to have these conversations. But I wanted to talk about that. So thank you, Lady Liv. That was good. So back to the music. The JT ran out. For some reason, it keeps getting in my head. Ran out. Ran out. You know, JT is one of them city girls, Lady Liv. You know, that's what they do. They run off on the plugs and, ooh, my light. How my light went? They're light regular. Somebody need to give me a light. I gotta give me a light. But anyway, you know, they run out on this generation. They run out on the plugs. They run out on, they like, tricks. Lady Liv, these girls, Lady Liv, I don't think you can handle them. Cause I can't. I'm back on the porch. Another one of my songs that I love this week, the Young LA, to me, it showed how powerful Atlanta was in the 2000s. Cause I think Young LA, everybody, I think that came out in the 2000s, right? But having that Young LA song to revert back to a big place right now, it showed me how powerful Atlanta Run was. Atlanta Run was so powerful that they go back and catch stuff that was in the 2000s and bring it back, and it's just as relevant. It's just as relevant as it is now. And to be honest with you, it felt great to hear that song. It really did. I think Young LA came out before the Young Thugs. I think he was in that era right before the Young Thugs, right? I think he was right before them. So to see that rebirth, oh my God, I thought that was cool. And for him to go viral, amazing. Shout out to Young LA. And I heard some of his new stuff. I like it too. Atlanta got it. Atlanta can really run it again if they want to. That's just something about the South. We've always been able to do that. Lady Liv said, right, a lot of organizations now is organized cults where the rules are in their favor when you can't think for yourself. You right? Maybe I don't need to move because Lady Liv is staying there. Right. Let me say that again. Right. A lot of organizations now is organized cults where the rules are in their favor, where you can't think for yourself. Right. Because when you think about the gangs, when you think some church cults, when you think the organizations done to sororities, a lot of those organizations are where you think like the leader. Right. It's no where you have your own opinion or where you could have your own free will. If you don't acquiesce, is that a word? Acquiesce to that organization, you will be thrown out. And that's everything I noticed. Religion, fraternity, sororities, gangs. your jobs. But how far do you go to where you be abused? Yeah, you know, when you go on your job, you got to be on time. You have to do all these things because those are the rules. You know, with religion, same thing. But how far do you go when you be abused and you don't know it? That's the scary part about these kind of organizations. That's the scary part. Lady Liv, I don't want to move on and you keep talking. You got something else to say? I really want to talk about that. I got to go on have that much time. Another one of my songs this week was I love this song, Anicia out of Georgia. Listen, I told y'all to watch that Anicia. We got to watch Anicia. Lady Liv, I don't know if you heard about her. Move on, okay? Okay, Lady Liv said move on. Okay, I don't know if you heard Anicia, but I'm telling you, I'm a hearer. And I heard the Anicia long time ago when she did that, when her and, who was the other girl? Lotto. When her and Lotto did that song. But I noticed this week she came out with a song with her and Glorilla and Karabu. I don't know. The names are crazy. But Never Need. Listen, if you do not understand what you're hearing, that song, that sound, that beat, that track came from Kaya. Don't trust no nigga. Let me tell you something. Kaya songs and Soulja Boy songs is putting the girls and boys back on the map. If you know, have you guys noticed that? The Kayas, because who else did the Kaya song? My Neck, My Back. A lot of people take from Kaya and to me do not give her a moment. A lot of artists are taking a lot of Kaya sounds, a lot of her beats, a lot of her things, and don't get a sister her credit. Anicia, if you're listening, go and grab Kaya and put her on the remix of that. It'll go. I'm telling you. They don't give Kaya her moment. Kaya songs and Soulja Boy is really putting the girls and boys back in game. Because you got to think about it. Sexy Red whole career is Soulja Boy. Her whole being is Soulja Boy. So, you know, I ain't knocking it, but come on, let's give reverence. Let's tell the truth. You know, and then they had the nerves to say, oh, y'all old. No, you taking everything and you just laying on top of it. Let me say these few things because I got to go. Since we're talking about music, let's stay on music because I may not have long. Who was this? I think it was, well, I did have a paper. Timberland. Okay. Timberland back in the 90s was one of the greatest producers in that time. You got to think about Timberland and them came up under the, who was that Jodeci guy? I can't think right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Timberland came out of that factory. The Devontaes, right? He came from over there. So that stuff was born bred, right? But listen, in the news, he talked about this. He said, today's music is bland. He said, and boring. He claims AI has more soul than most artists right now. Do I agree? No, not all the way, not completely. Now, I do agree that maybe it's bland because AI have been put in the position where now we don't look for originality or true talent. Now, with us being in the position that we can make an artist, sure, the music is bland because you guys are more making artists instead of allowing true talent and the true artists to come forth on their own. You can't make artists. And we've gotten to where we AIing people. We making artists. We making people be this. So in a way, I don't agree, but I do agree. I get what he's trying to say. But Timberland, come back to the table and pull your prices down. Because I notice a lot of great music is not produced considered or weighed by money. When those artists was coming up and forming, it wasn't about money. It just was raw talent. It was raw, God-given talent, and money wasn't the concern. Now money into play and all of this, people do not give soul-breaking music. So, it's about the money. So you're going to get that kind of music. So if we would kill that, maybe we'll get some more, maybe we would get true artistry back. Soul artistry, and stop trying to, I think a lot of people suppress raw great talent. They suppress it because if it don't look presentable, if it don't, back in the day, the girls who could sing was big girls. But if she don't look skinny, light skinned, and this, then she's not being taken serious, or you're not gonna get raw talent. Let's just be honest. Big dark skinned girls are the girls that can sing down. They have the soul. They have the spirit from the church. But now AI in this world wants skinny, light skinned, no talent. No, tell the truth. So Timberland, don't be scared to tell the truth. When you looked at Angie Stone, shout out and rest in peace to Angie Stone. Angie Stone was big black girl who could write and sing from her fucking pelvis, right? So of course you get bland music because you don't want to get the real music that comes from people who don't look what? Fuckable? Tell the truth. We don't like to tell the truth about this stuff. I got 1 minute. Oh my God! Let's tell the truth. Maybe I can come back in later on and have this conversation. But Timberland, tell the truth. Really have the conversation. Don't have the conversation because of your relationships. Because if you're thinking about your relationships while you're talking, you're not going to say the truth. Because you don't want to offend the people who pay you. And I think the people who paying these people, you need to hear the truth. I said it. Lady Liv, thank you for tuning in this weekend. I think I saw Kendo. Thank you, darling, for coming in. Listen, thank you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go and subscribe. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. But I really wanted to give my heart to the men today because I was seeing things that maybe we don't talk about. Maybe we don't, find that the thing that we need to have the conversation about. People don't talk about that. What a Dr. Bryant lady at? I need you to go and counsel those men who don't realize that relationship was abusive. We need to show them that was abuse in the community. That was not great. That was abuse. And I think it's in every field. So I don't want people to think I'm just, talking about one kind of people, one organization. All organizations are showing signs of abuse. And if you are anything when it comes to church, school, job, gangs, whatever, pay attention to that. Pay attention to those signs. It's abuse. All right. I got to get out of here. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I'm Miss Tia. See you.